welcome everyone to our celebration of Global Love Day, May 1st, and our celebration of our humanity. And in particular, today we are live with the Board of Directors of the Love Foundation so that we can give a little insight to all of us that are participating in bringing not only Global Love Day together and for the public, also bringing the Love Foundation together. And our next guest is our board member, Erik Grand. Welcome, Erik.
Thanks, Harold, and happy Global Love Day to you.
Happy Global Love Day to you too, yes.
It's a pleasure to be here speaking with you today.
Show your shirt so everybody can see where this all becomes. Love begins with
me. Love begins with me is the theme of Global Love Day. You know, it's funny, if for those that aren't aware, every year we put out a new t-shirt, and one of probably my only collection is Global Love Day t-shirts. I think they go back now 4 or 5 years. So this was from 2018, and I'm really excited to be wearing it today.
Yeah, they are a fun aspect of what we get to do because we're able to put the message out in yet another way, and people love being able to wear their t-shirts and share Global Love Day every day. Well, we obviously go back quite a ways because you originally came to us as a young student in college and reached out and said you'd like to participate with us, and we made you a coordinator for state. And then it didn't take very long, and your enthusiasm and all of your creative insight gave us the opportunity to bring you onto the board. So you've actually been on the board for quite some time. And we've, of course, enjoyed all the many different insights and awarenesses and special aspects that you've given to us, particularly oftentimes in the technology arena, which we really appreciate. But I want to, let everybody have a chance to meet you also in this process. Is there any one thing you'd like to share with how you came to us? And
I think I came to you via Google search. I was searching for I was searching for unconditional love because, I was just finishing up college. I was going for a business degree, and, I was really excited to start my career, but something felt like it was still missing, right? I was searching for something more than just making money, getting established in my career. And, before I ventured off into, the technology space, and I was really just trying to understand or really see what else is out there. And that ultimately led me to the Love Foundation. And, I know, Harold, you and I have had a lot of really great conversations over the years. As you mentioned, I started off as a state coordinator here in the U.S. I think it was New Jersey. I've lived in a lot of different states since then.
Yes, we follow you all over the country.
New Jersey, then to San Francisco, and yeah. And then ultimately, I was thrilled to accept a board position. What was it, a year after that? So yeah, very, very. It's been a great 15 years. Met a lot of great people and learned a lot along the way.
Well, and if I remember correctly, your search was really on unconditional love, which was quite intriguing to me personally, because as I've shared with you over the years, a lot of things that you were experiencing in your age, especially when you first came to us, were things that I was experiencing at that age too, but I didn't have anywhere to go with it. And I think you had said that unconditional love was what you were actually searching for. You found the Love Foundation immediately. What is the aspect of unconditional? What was going on then? And then, in essence, what is your understanding of unconditional love, and why is that the attraction part for you?
I think it's again, thinking back 15 years ago, I distinctly remember I went from college, earned a business degree, transitioned into grad school, pursuing an MBA. I remember at the time there was the theme of, all this was new to me. It was about, competitiveness, how do you just kind of stand out in the market, and everything that we're used to with business, right? I always believed there was a better way to do business. And I think that's what really kicked off my search. It was like, if I'm going to go into this, as a profession, I want to be able to do things a different way. So at the time, I wanted to really incorporate unconditional love into my own, not just personal life, but professional life as well. That was the genesis for how this all started.
And how would you describe to our audience that's watching, what does unconditional love mean to you? How would you say define it or describe it personally for you?
It's a great question, Harold. It's such a simple answer, I think, but a lot of people, it's so hard to grasp, right? But what does unconditional mean? It's just that. It's a willingness to love or respect a person or show them kindness without any conditions. So, um, maybe I always like to use the example of my kids, right? Like they do things that can really get under my skin and
Drive
make
you
me
nuts.
and drive me nuts, right? They're no different than the person that cuts me off on the street or,
Yeah.
whatever it might be. But using my kids as an example, like I still love them no matter what, right? We love our kids. We love, there's nothing they can do in this world that would make us stop loving them. The same is true with everybody else. As long as you accept unconditional love for all of humanity, it's really hard to look at another person and find faults in them and find reason to not love them and show them things that do not align with kindness, tolerance, respect. That's how I view unconditional love. That's what it means to me.
So, being that you're wearing very specifically the T-shirt, which is our theme, or one of two themes for Love Begins Me, for Global Love Day, Love Begins with Me, and celebrating humanity, then that kind of poses the question: do you love yourself unconditionally? Because in essence, you're coming from a space that recognizes, so clearly somewhere along the line you had to embrace yourself on that same level in essence first.
It's a great question, Harold. One of the things I learned early on in my life is, I read the books, I studied different traditions and it found different inspirations. I tried to go out there and really just I love you, like I love you and you and you. But I didn't really say I wasn't really comfortable with myself yet. Something was missing. But what I learned early on is that until you can love yourself unconditionally, you're really just faking it, right? You can't really say that you love the whole world until you love yourself. So I wear this shirt very proudly. Love begins with me because it's what I believe. It comes full circle. If you love yourself, you have it within you to extend that same love to other people.
Well, and because Love Begins with Me was originally our main theme and continues to be our main theme in our 18th year now of sharing Global Love Day, you're attracted to Global Love Day, and you've obviously shared and assisted us every year that you've participated. What is a particular aspect about Global Love Day that really rings your bells, perks you up, or it's something that from your perspective you really like about Global Love Day, what it represents and means to you?
So what I really love about Global Love Day is the fact that we generate interest from all corners of the world. People that are just they're so willing to celebrate with us. And what are they celebrating? They're celebrating humanity, love for other people. And that's just something I think that every person on this planet can get behind and support. And, I absolutely love seeing the pictures that come in, the videos that come in. We've been a part of a lot of events together over the years, Harold, where, virtual events, like people in virtual worlds, we've done that at one point in time. Yeah. People come together and they're just celebrating unconditional love. Like, how beautiful is that, right? So that's probably my favorite aspect of it. I cannot tell you how much I love the day after a Global Love Day when we get all the interest, and it's like, I didn't know something was going on in Switzerland or but here it is, right? And they we've had a lot of interest within the African nations. I love seeing what they do. We've had some interest among celebrities over the years, so it's just really cool to see how people get so excited about love and want to share their celebration of it.
Well, and since you go back quite a ways, and we obviously started the first Global Love Day in 2004 for that first May 1st. Yeah. And that was back in the day when there was really no social media. We had internet, we had websites, and we had emails. And we always looked at it going global, so we always reached the global audience. But really in 2008, 10, when the social sites started to come on board and we were out there everywhere, we started to connect with people around the world. But even that was connecting and uniting and kind of the overall seeing of Global Love Day. But clearly in the last few years, one of the things we have witnessed that you're getting excited about is that day after, because we enjoy going out and doing searches, because we used to hear more about things as they were developing. And now a lot of it is post Global Love Day. And we, each year, we're finding progressively more and more postings and media across all these different social networks that we had no idea. Every country, every possible combination you could imagine, people using. And part of it is we are on Wikipedia with Global Love Day as an entry. So, but what we have found as social media has taken this idea further than what we have done, people have always consistently honored the vision of Global Love Day, and that part I think is why we are all doing this, which kind of leads me to the next question, because Global Love Day is, a program that we do out throughout the year, but you are obviously on the board and you were very attracted to participating, volunteering originally with the Love Foundation, and you obviously have done so for many years since then. What is it about the Love Foundation that gets you excited, and why you choose to participate and help us with it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it starts with the mission first and foremost. I am so aligned to the mission of inspiring people to love unconditionally. That is without question the underlying theme of my personal and professional life. And when I first found the Love Foundation, I didn't even know there was anybody talking about this stuff, let alone having a 501c3 nonprofit. And I still think back to those, early days, and it's still like, so it helped me find community. We have some phenomenal programs where we interact with people from all over the world. And I've established some great connections, friendships with people from all corners of the globe. So really those two things, friendship with like-minded people and the mission to inspire people to love unconditionally. Those are my two favorite aspects about TLF.
Well, and when you came, to us originally, I instantly saw this business connection because I knew you were in college, and where you already had this kind of insight and you reached out and found us. I was very aware, like I went to school full time and I worked full time, and I tried to juggle those two things, and I wasn't happy either. I was like, something didn't jive with me. So part of my journey was to really find my own inner sense of self, which is why we launched, the Love Foundation. But one of the things that you and I particularly have shared over the years, because we do have that business background, is this business notion. Because in essence, you and I are very, might be a couple of generations different, but we both share a very strong perspective about the fact that this unconditional love isn't just for family, friends, community. This is about the workspace. This is about everyday living, and in particular workspace, because we have done that and you are doing that. You also feel very strongly about bringing this notion of unconditional love into the career, into the work, into the office, into the business. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, and very passionate about it. Love to elaborate. So, I think there's this like misconception out there that, we can, business people and businesses operate in a very competitive landscape. Like everybody has to compete with one another to obtain more revenue. What I found in my career, in maybe just the companies I've been so fortunate to work with, is that we see each other as partners in this, and I'm in software, in that whole ecosystem, we know that we kind of depend on each other for things. I think we can all agree that, nobody wins if we're just going to sink each other's boat. Like nobody wants to just be competitive all the time. The other thing too is, when you take a step back, right, you think about who you're competing against. These aren't like business entities. These are people that have families. They want the same thing you want. They want to support their families. They want to grow in their careers. They want to earn a good living. It makes little sense to compete with people that we're so aligned with, right? So I always felt that there was a much better way. And absolutely, bringing that love into the workplace really pays off. The company that I'm currently with, our CEO, a very strong believer in this as well, So this is like living proof that it works. We just were acquired a big company, big valuation. And how did we do that? The CEOs always believe that, taking a human first approach to business is how you win in business. And it paid off for us. And I really believe that other businesses can have the same results by bringing love into the workplace.
And obviously, we've operated the Love Foundation as a nonprofit organization with that guiding principle all the way around. We, even to the point where our Essay Poetry Invitational, for example, is an invitational. It's not a contest. It's not a competition. They're finalists. We're very careful about how we word things as a result. And so I continued my practice with my understanding and developing the Love Foundation, but walking and talking and working with you, and we know that there's a paradigm shift in business where this is kind of not the new frontier, it's the right frontier. It's the holistic frontier. And I know the company you've been working for some years now, they're wildly successful with this approach. And it just feels so right to remind people. I mean, for many people that would be listening, if you've got a job, you're probably spending 8-9+ hours a day at this job. If you have a 24-hour day, that's a third of each day short of a weekend. And if you realize that you're spending very little time with family and yourself, compared to what you spend in the work, why wouldn't we want to take this notion of unconditional love, this playful approach to life, and this understanding that we're all in it together? And that's something you and I have talked about a lot over the years, how this can be done and is necessary, vital for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You think about how much time you spend in your job, right? It's not something that you can just wake up feeling inspired to be kind to other people and then, okay, I'm going to work, I'm going to turn the light switch off and just be competitive and everything opposite of the things we're talking about, right? Yes. That just doesn't work. And who wants that, right? Like, so to your point, I think it's really important to try to find ways to incorporate it into your daily practice, your daily activities in the office, or if you're working from home, how can you, for me personally, it sounds a little silly. I like to kick off my meetings with childlike joy. I'm a big fan of icebreakers. Everybody, and especially when I work with clients, I like to start meetings with a little icebreakers and get people laughing, right? Yes. It kind of breaks the mood. It's just, I'm the self-proclaimed king of really bad dad jokes. I love sharing them with people. It gets everybody laughing. Maybe they're laughing at me, not with me, but that's okay. It helps set the mood. Yes. And that's all part of it, right? We're friends now. We're all on the same page.
And that is how we make a difference. And where I think so many people have always looked outside of themselves, they've looked for others to kind of kick this off and initiate it. The t-shirt that you're wearing today, perfect. Love begins with me. Laughter begins with me. A smile begins with me. And we are here to recognize that it's an inside out thing. And if we're really at peace with ourselves, that's what we bring to the world. And that's how we really make a difference. We can't fix things thousands of miles away, but we can bring our presence in and remind people that life on the planet is really meant to be joyful and fun and loving and caring and compassionate and kind. And it's been fun to watch you grow through all this with it and actually take all of this common awareness and just keep applying it like we do. And I've just watched you grow while you've been with us in your own personal life, just taking love into absolutely everything and seeing the results. I mean, that's really why we're sharing the board members, because these are all individuals today that represent what it's like to live with love and how easy it is once you start.
Yeah,
that's the difference for us.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. It's been great for me too. And one comment you made that I wanted to double click on about how do we change the world? How do we affect somebody millions or thousands of miles away, right? One thing that I've had to learn too is that we all have these like big ideas. We want to change the world, but it really starts with us, right? Going back to love, it begins with me. Just be that living example that show kindness, do random acts of kindness. My partner Katie and I, we always like to go out and share random acts of kindness. That's like something we're really big on. When we're at the the grocery store and we see like maybe the cashier is not really having the best of days, we like to tell jokes and make them laugh. Like that's just something we do. So little things like that are what changes the world. Showing love to other people is really how you make a difference. It starts with you. Whatever you're good at, whatever you inspire to do, share that with the world. That's how you change the world.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the last question, which is, you've celebrated a lot of Global Love Days with us. How do you enjoy celebrating Global Love Day, and what do you plan to do the rest of today as a celebration?
So yeah, there's been a lot of really good events over the years that I've been able to participate in, everything from the virtual events that we talked about earlier. That was probably one of my favorite, honestly. Just, I think we had like a virtual beach party or something. And it was just so cool. We had like 600 people or something show up. That was phenomenal. There's a lot of really other cool things we've done. There's been, last year when, the pandemic kind of hit, we had the kind of stay at home music concerts, where people were tuning in, sharing, Global Love Day through music. That was really cool. I know there's been some other activities, drum circles and things like that. As far as what we're doing today, we're going to keep it pretty low key here. We're going to be actually doing some planting. My daughters wanted to really, celebrate with some flowers and stuff. So we got some of those from the store, and we're going to plant them and make the world a more beautiful place. That was one of the themes today. So
hopefully as a kids, you'll all go out and be childlike and get yourself some ice cream too.
Yeah, we probably have that as well coming up next. But there's always seems to end with ice cream.
Yes, well, that's
with little ones, but yeah. So that's
with the little ones as Dad is driving into the ice cream store. Yes, we know.
I love my vegan ice cream. So
yeah, exactly. That's us. Our soy ice cream.
Yeah. Yep. Got some of that as well. So
it's been an absolute pleasure. I thank you for sharing, again, another different perspective, and letting, the audience that's watching see yet another member of our board of the Love Foundation, and why we're all here doing what we're doing, and why we do it, and why we're so passionate about it. And I certainly appreciate all that you bring to the party, and we'll leave you with a happy Global Love Day.
It's been a pleasure, Harold. Happy Global Love Day to you and everybody tuning in. Hope we get a chance to do this again next year.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.